Hey guys, and welcome to the One Build Battle Royale tournament. This is an event where you have to choose your units wisely. You pick them before the start of the tournament, you build an army, and that is the sole army you can take for the entirety of the tournament. It does form a lot of build roulette throughout the entire course, of course, of the battle, but it's a load of fun, and you see a lot of builds and matchups that normally you wouldn't get to see because they counter each other and so forth and so forth. We're going to be watching all of the quarterfinals here, as well as both the semis and the finals. Plenty of cool stuff for you guys to see. And it looks like the first guys are ready to rumble immediately. We do have the mighty von Carstien in charge of the Chaos, representing the unholy demeanor of evil, up against I'm going to butcher his name. Artesian Tech Priest West and his Empire forces. Is it Scourge of the West secretly? That'd be kind of cool if it is. I'm not too sure. Nakai actually got to the finals last time, guys. We did one of these. Nakai got to the finals. It was absolutely insane. And let's go through the builds quickly, though. It's going to be a pretty fast start to the tournament, but then I'll be able to break down a few more stuff the further we do go on. And we're also going to be announcing Death Before Dishonor, qualifier number 3 as well, and the start date for that. By the way, for von Carstien's forces, we do have Chaos Marauders dotted all the way through the front line. Cheap, cheerful chaff. Happy to be here, ready for a good fat scrap. We do have double Chaos Warriors with great weapons as well for a little bit more punch in that second line. And the Mirror Guard Regiment of Renowned Version, who love looking at themselves as much as they love slaughtering the enemy. And trust me, they love looking at themselves. Leading them, of course, is going to be Prince Sigvald the Tanky, one of the tankiest lords in the entire game. I absolutely despise him. At the same time, I absolutely love playing with him because he just hates dying. He's really not about that lifestyle. Auric Armor does give him regeneration. He has Slippery, he has Perfect Vigor, a big pain in the butt. We have the Summoners of Rage right in the deep there, as well as a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire up in the skies, escorted by another Chaos Feral Manticore. We have Triple Horsemen, who are going to be escorted by some Chaos Warhounds with poison. So really cool, well-balanced Chaos build, looking just to punch the enemy in the face physically as hard as possible. And that is certainly a good tactic in this type of matchup. For Force of the Empire, gone for an incredibly defensive approach, but my god, this build is beautiful. We have Spearmen, as well as Sigma Suns, holding the front line and the back line, so very light on the infantry for the most part, just looking to hold the enemy back, whilst we have a Luminarch of Hish, as well as the Templehof Luminarch. Double Luminarch being brought to the table here to really try and pound down the enemy. We have Carnies of Flagellants in the secondary line, including the Tatter Souls, a unit you don't get to see terribly often. These guys are the Regiment of Renown version. And we have the Silver Bullets as well, hidden, of course, stalked in that nice central pocket. No wizard, because what kind of Empire force demands a wizard? No, we have 2 warrior priests, as well as Volkmar the Grim coming in with all his buffs. This is a wild, wild build coming in for the Force of the Empire. I feel like it's just going to get crumped and surrounded and deleted, but we'll have to see. Maybe those Luminarchs can really destroy the enemy on the approach. What's up for Poland? How's it going? What's up, Sloth? Metalmorphis as well. And of course, the legendary Raptor and Papa Palpatine. Hope you guys are good in the hood. Now, is double Luminarch actually legal in tournaments? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see if it does turn the battle anyway before we check. Good to go. So how are you guys doing today? Are you excited? Papa Palpatine is leading the force of the Beastmen into glorious hand-to-hand combat here. Very excited to see him bring those bad boys to life. And I hope they get DLC soon. I'm assuming DLC news is just around the corner. If you guys didn't notice, a Dark Elf Lord has been announced. I completely forget his name, but he's the Beast Slayer or Beast Tamer. But that might mean Dark Elves aren't actually going to be in the DLC like we all perhaps predicted, or maybe it's going to work in a similar way that Dreicher did bring to the table and work in that kind of format. Anyway, Templehof Luminarch is going to be lining up a shot, probably going after that Feral Manticore. I'd definitely be trying to hit the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire if I was him. Looks like double shot's going to go up. That Feral Manticore is annihilated. Oh my god. Down to about half health, swooping out back to the battle. But this is going to be a bit of a problem for the Empires. Once these front lines hit, Marauder will not take long whatsoever to chew through the Spearmen. And then we have Chaos Warriors, Mirror Guard, all sorts of nastiness come into the fray. Silver Bullets have currently been spotted. Looks like the lads are saying ready, good luck, have fun. It's good to see Von Carstien back as well. We haven't had him on the channel for quite a few months here, and he was a staple in our multiplayer community. And the Tech Priest as well, making his debut on the channel, I believe. It looks like the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire does get a lovely little juke here, and the Silver Bullets are unleashing slaughter upon the Marauder Horsemen, who did get a little bit too close for comfort. They're obviously trying to throw their axes at the Silver Bullets, but they've been tangled up with Spearmen. Von needs to pull these guys back as quickly as possible. And of course, he is microing elsewhere as well. Chaos Marauders are currently terrified at this point by the might of Volkmar the Grim, and I'd be terrified as well. He's a scary fellow with an impressive moustache. Summoners of Rage are forcing their way through into the Sigma Suns. Need to use their mash to really get through and shut down the Silver Bullets. they are a huge threat here. Great warriors with great weapons, or chaos warriors with great weapons, but still, I'm sure they're great warriors as well, are charging in, but the warrior priests are just bombarding this chaos formation. This is absolute insanity out of the gate. I'm very surprised both the Luminarchs have survived as long as they had. Sigvald has been slapped on the bum there, sent flying by a Luminarch, but in comes the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. Volkmar as well, being hunted down by a Pharaoh Manticore. Big fat burning head comes down the line. Tech Priest attempted to dodge in time, but actually pulled his troops back to the burning head, which is somehow going to go through the Spearmen as well. Also a few Warhounds, so a little bit of a give and take there. Summoner's Rage have now forced their way back onto the Luminarch, as well as Chaos Warhounds punching through onto the Silver Bullets. And this is the problem with the Empire build. It is now getting overwhelmed. Warrior Priests not able to hold the line and steady the hand of those Empire State Troops. In the distance, Chaos Sorcerer is simply duking back and forth, happy all day to simply dodge as many shots as possible. Volkmar the Grim is now getting on the perfect target of the Mirror Guard, and it looks like poor Prince Sigvald is getting netted here, and I expect there's going to be some Luminarch shots coming in. Whether that Luminarch did just take a big fat fireball to the face. Prince Sigvald, raise that shield, boy, you're going to need it. And no, the shot fails for some reason. It doesn't go off for whatever reason. That's weird. Maybe the Chaos Marauders blocked the line of sight, and in come the Summoners of Rage. They dispatch that flank on this side. Pharaoh Manticore now hunting down the Luminarch of Hysh. Warhounds feasting on the souls of the Silver Bullets, and now the Summoners of Rage are going to be quite happily to beat down the Templehof Luminarch. It looks like a banishment will come down on them, but banishments aren't so good up against such troops. You want to dupe them en masse. Like here would have been far better on the Chaos Warriors and the like, because the Summoners of Rage are simply going to clobber their way through the Templehof with deadly efficiency, and there it goes, routing from the field. This game's certainly not over though. Volkmar the Grim is a disgustingly powerful foe. And the whole point of this Empire build, you take the Silver Bullets, the double Luminarch, you shoot whatever can kill Volkmar, and then you allow Volkmar to carry the day. And if he rolls through this infantry, he will basically be unscathed. Unfortunately for him though, the Summoners of Rage have survived the early onslaught. Let's get some glorious action with these mighty beasts of chaos. Fight the heroic Zealot of Sigmund. It looks like they're turning to run away. I don't blame them. Look at him. He is absolutely glorious. Prince Sigvald the Beautiful is currently alive and happy, carving his way through Spearmen back up to full health, despite taking some of those early shots. And at this point, von Carstien needs to make sure that he chases off enemy troops. And perfect experienced tournament play here. Horsemen used to check off one unit. Silver Bullets being feasted on by Chaos Warhounds, and the other units are being shattered as well. And with that, a ton of the punch of the Empire build has been dealt the final blow. Chaos Marauders and Chaos Warriors chewing their way through the tattered souls. Looks like that Chaos Sorcerer is coming down for a bit of a laugh as well, toying with the Warrior Priest before sacrificing them to the great Chaos Gods. Prince Sigvald trying to go toe-to-toe with Volkmar the Grim. Not going to be the best time for Volkmar there. Yes, he can do a decent amount of damage to Prince Sigvald, but he won't be able to really kill him in single combat very quickly, especially with a Chaos Pharaoh Manticore also getting a little lick in here or two. Warrior Priest trying his best, but much like, I don't know if you guys saw the trailer ages ago, there's a game that came out before Total War Warhammer, which was kind of like a similar style game. It had a really awesome cinematic with a Warrior Priest getting his crap kicked out of him by some Chaos Warriors, and it looks like that's just what's going to be happening here as well. He's going down hard, but unfortunately for him, 24 kills, pretty impressive stuff, taking down some of the mightiest the enemy can offer, but at the same time, that Chaos Sorcerer will simply swoop down and break him off the field here. Marauder Horsemen have some nice range as well of their javelins to start coping those shots into the Prince, Volkmar, sorry, not the Prince, Volkmar the Grim, who has managed to dispatch a Chaos Pharaoh Manticore, but in his own right, he's going to summon hugely up against the Summoners of Rage, who's still relatively okay for late game. You know, 7 models is still a lot of punch and power, and they're fighting units which aren't really going to be able to damage them back too much. Looks like Army losses pretty much has set in. It's just the unbreakable troops left fighting at the moment for the force of the Empire. Warhounds just vibing on the side. Looks like a big fat burning head is going to go down, slaughtering more of his own troops than the enemy, but I'm sure he doesn't care at this point. Big fat banishment is going to go down by Volkmar. This will do some disgusting work, although unfortunately it does actually kind of teeter a little bit away. Fun fact, when you do deploy a banishment, it will initially go in the direction from which you cast it. So if you're looking forward from your cast, it will go that way at least for like half a second or two. Anyway, very well played to both these true champs. Some pretty awesome games going there from both of them. The Tech Priest come in with, not good damage, unfortunately, in the end on his Luminarchs. Silver Bullets did a little bit better. Volkmar the Grim as well. 1,500 damage value seems like a lot, but he is rather expensive. So unfortunately, he did get a little bit steamrolled there by the far more aggressive forces of von Carstien. Certainly suited the map as well, being Troll Country, very close quarters. Didn't give the Empire much room to really kite and try and drag the opponent out of position. That Fire Lord did amazing, or Fire Sorcerer. 2,000 damage value is pretty impressive stuff. Chaos Maurers did a good job, as well as, just the Manticore, 1,600. Oh, disgusting. Warhounds, as well as the Horsemen, mainly used to chase off routing troops, but as equally important as killing them. And we have the Mighty Summoners of Rage, 1,857 damage value, 12,000 damage dealt, 66 kills. Glorious stuff. The memes will this day be memes, but won't fulfill the dreams, unfortunately. GG. I love the builds. Now, some awesome stuff by both these guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. What's up, Mr. Ice Power? How's it going? Yeah, no caster. Casters are for the weak. The memes are for the strong, and the double Luminarch did, some pretty decent damage shot out of the gate, but of course the map just really didn't suit the build too well, unfortunately. We'll be seeing Ice Power and Raptor face a little bit later down. I think they've got another couple of games to go before those guys are up. I'm very excited for their battle. They've got two very cool armies. Oh, Palpatine, yeah, his build is certainly thematic. It is very thematic. And it's very cool stuff, so... Not enough faith, oh for sure. The only caster I need is faith, oh for sure. Clearly needed more warrior priests. See you in next... round one. Tune in to stream to see when you are up. Oh, looks like he's dropped out. Cool, and for anyone who is playing today, please don't leave the lobby, even if you lose the game straight away after, because it will just cut me out of the game. I won't be able to break down people's damage value and all that kind of good stuff. So let's quickly double check who we have up next if we do go to our glorious bracket, which I will share with you guys now as well. Looks like Palpatine will be taking on Suave the Mighty. After that, we have Void Lols up against Gobbo Slayer, then Ice Power versus Raptor. So loads of good stuff to come. So this is a link quickly to the challenge page. Yeah, so just going to make sure there's no questions on Discord. Looks like we're all good. So let's hop in and try and find them. Palpatine versus Suave. Here we go. So who is in which side? We have Papa P on the left. So let's update the bracket super quickly. So, Papa P, a master of the dark arts and the dark gods themselves. It turns out they actually worship him, which is kind of odd, but it's been proven in lore now. Normally a master of chaos, but this time he is indeed going to be bringing the force of the beastmen to the main fray. And when these guys are ready, we'll hop in. And the good thing about this format is it's just so quick and snappy. So I need to give these guys the map, because I don't know the map yet. So map is... oh, we can do Aldorf Outskirts. That's fine. Actually, no, let's go for... we might save Aldorf Outskirts for the final or something. Which map should we do? I'm also open to suggestions for maps. So basically just going through tournament ones for the most part. So let's go a lovely little Eschen. Of course, if Raptor is the one suggesting the maps, then we will perhaps not choose them, but we'll have to wait and see. This is a lot more meme than my army. You've let the side down if you're not memeing. No, Dr. Nick, you have to wait, my dude. So it's all in the Discord. All of the quarterfinal battles are being streamed, all the semi-final battles are being streamed, and the finals are being streamed. Hence why I didn't give everyone maps, so no one could be mistaken and hop in and do their game. If you have played your game, unfortunately, you're going to have to replay it, even if you win. Because it's all there in Discord under the rules. So here we are on the glorious map of Eschen. We're going to be popping in here and having a look at the glorious builds. I'm very excited for the Beastmen one in particular, because it is wild. Palpatine has pulled no punches when it comes to going as thematic as possible with his glorious Beastmen. What's up, Forsarken? For Skarn? It's almost like Forsaken. How's it going, man? Ice Power, oh wowzer. That's a lot of centaurs. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, I'm sure you've seen his army pushed out on Discord. If you want to see what is coming for the enemy, and it's certainly going to be very scary. Certainly going to be very, very scary. Let's have a little sip of my drink so I stay alive. But Yes. I'm very excited as well to announce the next DBD qualifier. It's been a little while since the last one. We're kind of giving a 2-week break between them at the moment and doing kind of smaller streams in between. And this one's no different. It is, of course, Mother's Day, so I wanted to just do a small stream, as I knew people would be lacking on time. But Papa Palpatine, a man of the Chaos Dark Arts, is coming in with a glorious, beautiful build. Leading his forces, of course, is Kazarak, the One-Eye, the one-man army himself. Coming in with Apocalyptic Vision, as well as the Dark Mail. Of course, like all Beastmen, he has Primal Fury. Rolling Dirty alongside a Brave Shaman of Wild, who does come with Brave Scream and Vile Tide. None of those nasty, pesky summons. Summons, much like casters, are for the weak. In his main battle line, it is going to be Centigors, dotted all the way along. And these guys are going to be accompanied by some Centigors with great weapons, who seem to be taken at the flanks slightly more. And then in the back, we have 4 units of Centigors with thrown axes. And that's his entire build. Full cavalry, just mash. This unit of great weapons is going to be very busy out the gate. As for Suave, he has triple Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, going to be absolutely menacing the night to this build. They have poison, they can slow down the enemy, and the Centigors are very weak to bow fire. Apart from that, from the Greenskins, we do have Goblins in the front line for the mighty Suave's forces. Double Black Orcs. These guys, unless they get a cycle charge, are going to be hewing these huge axes, cleaving Centigors in two, doing some really lovely damage. We have Orc Arrow Boys, as well as the Rusty Arrows, so he's going to have to try to protect this bow line, because it's going to be very powerful if possible. But far easier said than done. Centigors, of course, are very swift movers. We have a giant River Troll Hag with Spirit Leech coming in. We have Skarsnik as well, with his fermented fungi, as well as Spite the Bad Moon, and a Black Orc Big Boss, accompanied by a couple of units, or a single unit of Stone Trolls, it would seem. Straight out of the gate, Centigors do hop upon their prey. If they can catch them, they will be able to force them off the field rather quickly, but at the same time, you can see the burst damage they take from that bow fire, as the Centigors do start to rove towards the enemy formation. Poor little Goblins hold the line desperately up against the might of the Centigors, as more Centigors do come crashing in, trying to break this pocket of resistance immediately. One big problem Palpatine is going to have is the micromanagement on this build is going to be absolutely insane. Palpatine, though, is of course one of the best players in the game, or one of the best players in the game. And it's certainly got some top-notch macro. Comes in here, slaughters some Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, force them off the field straight away. Really lovely catch. Looks like the Archers army trying to hunt down the thrown axes where possible. Brave Shaman having absolutely none of it. Does cast a big fat Vile Tide onto some Night Goblins and some nice damage. The left-hand pocket of strength has been broken already for the Beastmen forces. Down on the right, though, a lot of people don't know this. Kazarak One-Eye, he will slaughter your infantry. He doesn't care if you're Black Orcs. See him? He doesn't even have to cycle charge here. Apocalyptic Vision going down, and the Black Orcs shall fall in droves. They are supported by some thrown axes here as well. It looks like a Brave Scream is going to go down. Unfortunately, a bit of a miss. That spell's quite hard to pull off. It has a really small tier effect. And the right-hand side of the Greenskin forces has been broken at this point. Definitely worth disengaging one unit of Centigors just to force off the Black Orcs to ensure they don't come back into the fray in the future. Somehow these Spider Rider Archers have once again been caught by the Swift of Hoof Centigor. Black Orcs here doing a little bit better. Get Back here has been popped. We also have a fermented fungi going down on Kazarak One-Eye. This is a huge problem for the force of the Beastmen. He overextended, forgot about the fermented fungi, and he's probably going to die here, down to 2,700 health. He needs to try and escape as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, of course, for the forces of the Beastmen, they have no way of healing. Centigors are darting towards the aid of their Liege Lord here. Big Brave Scream going to go down to attempt to allow him to escape, which is a nice attempt. Unfortunately, that Brave Scream won't deal Skarsnik and the Stone Trolls much hurt, and they won't be forced over either. So Kazarak, unfortunately, may be going down here, which is a huge shame, because apart from that, the Beastmen are absolutely slaughtering the Greenskins, chasing off a lot of this formation, and a lot of the Archer Corps has been dealt a final blow. But without Kazarak, the leadership of the Beastmen is really going to suffer. It looks like he may just get away with 4 health. So yeah, he's basically shattered. It says he's routed, but there's no way he's going to come back, and even if he does, he won't make it anywhere near the main battlefield. There's a lot of thrown axes left who can pitter-patter their axes down on the Stone Trolls and Black Orcs. Big Brave Scream going down once more, but unfortunately not been hugely accurate. Giant River Troll Hag has been forced off. A war has gone down as well. At this point, the Beastmen player, which is Palpatine, just needs to simply chase off all of Suave's troops, hunt down the Orc Arrow Boys, force off this unit of Spider Riders if possible, because they're going to be a menace in the absolute night. And somehow the Goblins and Black Orcs have been allowed to rally as well. And unfortunately, sad Kazarak One-Eye is going to be running for the home. I blame him. 4 health must be like on death's bed, so I'd be leaving as well. Now, if Kazarak hadn't gone down, the Beastmen certainly would have been in a hugely advantageous position. That fermented fungi, sneaky Skarsnik play has really helped him out here. This Brave Shaman needs to stay as far away from Skarsnik as physically possible. Go nowhere near him. One fungi on this guy will be game over for the force of the Beastmen. Without their Liege Lords, they have basically no hope. Centaurs desperately trying to chase down this last unit of Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and they're getting very close. And oh no, this is disastrous. Down goes the Brave Shaman. As soon as that Fermented Fungi hits, the Stone Trolls just obliterate him and his chariot. And that is an absolute disaster for the force of the Beastmen. Now, maybe not just game over, maybe I was being over dramatic there, which is, of course, is the job of a commentator, I suppose. And there's still a lot of Centaurs left alive to do some lovely cycle charging. Front axes need to use all of their axes wisely. Finish off the Blackhawks, finish off the Stone Trolls, then cycle charge Skarsnik to death. Blackhawks down on this flank are completely surrounded. We don't have great weapon Centaurs in. Hell no, we do, I lie. Take that way back. We have a load of great weapons. They're perfect for dealing damage to the Blackhawks, and despite those huge losses of the leadership core, looks like the Throne Axe is not here to be underestimated. Kite him back, finish off the Stone Trolls. Now grab one unit which has low ammunition and chase these guys off the field. You just need to get rid of them because there's 9 of them and that's a lot of healing potential. Blackhawks are nearly done at this point, but do the Beastmen have enough to deal with Skarsnik as well as the Blackhawk Big Boss? Skarsnik does have that glorious anti-large, and the Blackhawk Big Boss does encourage nearby troops, so it's going to be really hard to beat them down in the end, especially to get back here, spite of the Bad Moon to give bonus versus large and all that really scary stuff. In the distance, the Spider Rider Archers have once again been caught. What is the speed on these guys? 78 up against the Centaurs, 74, but somehow the Centaurs have consistently made contact with the Spider Rider Archers, and I suppose the charge animation gives you that nice little boost, and these Archers are nearly out of ammunition. Blackhawk Big Boss is a little isolated here. He's kind of pulled away from Skarsnik. He can probably try to goon one of these guys at the moment. Tentacles with thrown axes have some ammunition left. Certainly want to throw all those axes into the green skin leadership where possible. And how often do you see this? Range skirmish come in from the force of the Beastmen. Stone Trolls getting escorted away by the Centaurs with great weapons. Brilliant play by Palpatine there, just to really ensure that they do go down. Unfortunately, 4 units all in one go just break from the Beastmen. That's a real disastrous stuff. 4 Centaur units fleeing before a single unit of Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. Looks like some more Centaurs are rallying over to the cause in an attempt to pull it back. Balance power slightly in favour of the Greenskins at the moment. These 2 thrown axes, every axe needs to count now, and going to be hitting a character or 2. And it looks like they are going to be piling in, all at Skarsnik for now, trying to really break the leadership of the Greenskin forces. A lot of his troops are now rallying in the distance. Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers flew too close to the Centaur-based sun, and are now being escorted off the battlefield as the balance power does pull even. A ton of units rally in one go, but they're all wavering just straight out of the gate, and army losses would be really brutal for the Beastmen right now. I mean, leadership penalties, I suppose. They've lost their lord, they've lost all their characters, a lot of their troops are fleeing. It's not a good day for them whatsoever. Skarsnik going to continue to chase, not taking much damage whatsoever from those throwing axes, as he's a little bit of a small target. He is duking back and forth as well. Good micromanagement there by Suave all around, and perhaps he thinks if he can deal the killing blow to Skarsnik, force him off the field, Blackhawk Big Boss will simply break and rout. More Centaurs with thrown axes have now returned to the field, and the Beastmen troops are just kind of vibing in the distance there, not wanting to get close because they know they're going to break, and he's simply going to be cycle charging, which he's allowed to do, and throw those thrown axes as well to use up all that ammunition. Moo! What's up, Hank? How's it going? Scourge to the west. Perfectly balanced fungi once again. Oh, for sure, man. For sure. Are you, by the way, Tech Priest Scourge to the west? Or have I mixed you up? I may have mixed you up. So I just saw it, so it was like Tech Priest of the west. Skarsnik is down to about 3,000 health at this point. Centaurs with great weapons trying their best to deal the blow. Looks like these Centaurs are currently obstructed, so they decide not to throw their axes in, which is very noble of them to not hurt their brethren, but by doing so, they're hurting their brethren. Skarsnik takes a huge volley to the face now, down to 2,700 health at this moment. Ammunition, though, is disgustingly low on the forces of the Centaurs, and it looks like there's a unit basically at full health, just literally vibing over the other side of the map for now. He wants to ensure he uses up all that ammunition before pulling his troops in. Spite of Bad Moon is going down, as well as get back here. Centaurs with thrown axes are currently forced into combat, attempting to surround Skarsnik, as well as the Blackhawk Big Boss, and yeah, we're going to see a bucket's ton of cycle charging now. Blackhawk Big Boss is, going strong on his big old piggy. He's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt to deal with. Of course, Skarsnik is the problem. And effective cycle charging may be enough to break the leadership and force him off the field. Fermented Fungi got us go down, but a bit of a mistake this time by Skarsnik and Suave. You need to drop it on a unit which has lost 25% health, I believe it is off the top of my head. Otherwise, yes, they will lose the melee stats, but they will not rampage, and that is absolutely key here. Dark Elf versatility is what makes them strong. I mean, Dark Elves aren't as bad as some people say, I think. How goes Fins? Man, it's going really good, Zach. Good to see you here, buddy. We are doing a really fun tournament right now. Basically, people picked a single army, and they stick with that army throughout the entire course of the tournament. Of course, it's not super balanced because Yeah, it's a bit of build roulette, for an example, but that is, you know, the risk and reward of going for certain factions, which are real kind of, you know, really good at one thing, really terrible at other things. Do you go really balanced, or do you commit fully? Palpatine committed to the memes, went full Centaur, and honestly, it is paying good dividends, and he is going to win this game, as it looks like Skarsnik shall break. Get back here has been popped, but there's so many Centaurs left, and they can just feel free to cycle charge. You wouldn't used to be able to do this, I don't believe, in old rules. I mean, he just have to keep one unit in combat, but now if you have a multi-unit model, or unit with multiple models in it, it can just cycle charge at the end of time. It's rather scary stuff. As our lads were just saying already and all that good stuff. Skarsnik has been now forced off the field. He is broken. The last few thrown axes will come in. Looks like the Black Hawk Big Boss is going to try and fight this to the end. There is a chance of a big rout going down. Balance power is still pretty much dead even, despite the fact there is literally one unit left for the Greenskins currently active and fighting. And a good play as well with Palpatine, not committing his weaker forces early on. You can see their leadership's rather low. He doesn't want to get a big fat chain rout going down, and he'll have a lot of his troops breaking. There just to keep them in the distance, to heal up, rest up, regain the morale as you slowly push the balance power back even, and then chase off these forces. Black Hawk Big Boss is now struggling, surrounded by Centaurs and Throne Axes. Skarsnik is going to be left to his own devices, it would seem. Perhaps he's trying to surround and break the Black Hawk Big Boss. No, he's going to kill Skarsnik. With their leadership penalty, the Black Hawk Big Boss will certainly be going down here, in my opinion. Nice play from the Beastman. Oh, yeah. For sure, man, for sure. This was some masterful play. Now, good play by Suave as well. The fermented fungi was incredibly scary stuff, and it just killed both the Beastmen characters. But despite that, the Beastmen managed to cling on and do some pretty insane work throughout. Yeah, Lawmaster Sotek used to do these tournaments, so we're basically doing a very similar format, so all props goes to him. I highly recommend going and checking out Lawmaster Sotek, an amazing Warhammer channel in general, as well as a Total War Warhammer channel. Big fan of his. We've changed a few things, just so it's not exactly the same tournament. I don't want to like copy it word for word, because he does a tabletop tournament, so there's specific rules to mirror tabletop Warhammer, whereas we've gone for a mixture of the two, like a tournament rules, but plus on top of that, you only bring one army, basically. Beautiful play by Palpatine's Kazrak One-Eye, getting in there, doing 59 kills, 6,444 damage dealt, nearly 1,000 damage value as well. It proves how amazing he's up against infantry, but unfortunately Skarsnik did get the better of him with his sneaky schemes. Brave Shaman of the Wild came in with over 1,100 damage value, impressive stuff from there, and across the board the basic Centaurs did relatively well, the great weapons did even better, this unit in particular shining, 1,322 damage value, 12,000 damage dealt. Now if you want to play Beastmen, there is a unit you're going to have to get used to using and using effectively, and that is the Centaur with Throne Axes, an absolute key unit in my opinion to playing Beastmen, and this is some good work here, and you can see why. 850 damage value here, 1,100, 1,300, 1,100. Beautiful stuff by Palpatine. As for Skarsnik, 1,459 damage of value, 50 kills, and more importantly, nice buff play and fermented fungi play by the legendary Suave. Black Hawk Big Boss struggled a little bit more, and of course the infantry throughout didn't perform particularly well. It looks like APIC Loons did manage to unleash havoc at one point, getting up to 782 damage value, nothing too shabby, nearly 5,000 damage dealt. The Black Hawks really struggled to pay for their value, as did the range troops. The Forest Golem Spider Rider archers, for the most part, doing a bit better, and the Stone Trolls in particular, 1,624 damage value, really held the line quite well. GG Well played. See you in the semis. So how we're going to do the semis, guys, is we're probably going to do the bottom semi first, because it's going to involve less chopping and changing of jumping in and out of lobbies, because we have some there already. Actually, no, because they can set up the lobby, so I'll take that back. Set up semi lobby. I will join when it's time. So, the first semi-final then will be between, I believe, Von Carstien and Palpatine, but we'll be going up. We've got the other two quarterfinals to do before then. Man, that Beastman build was, yeah. That was amazing. What's up, Honey Nut? How's it going? So let's quickly see, double check who we're going to be seeing next. And it is indeed going to be the Mighty Warriors Void up against Gobbo Slayer. So let's have a little look. Let's actually update the names here. So we'll have Gobbo on that side. And I think he's going under a different name today, but we'll stick with his normal name, which is Void, on the right-hand side. Boop. There we go. I was the inventor of the Centaurs. That's my build. Oh my god. It was a pretty fun build for sure. Hey lads. So, we are going to do Iron Sand Desert. Here's the map. Cool, cool. The Beastman build cannot be countered with a balanced army. Exactly! Although it would really struggle up against certain factions, of course, and a few of the builds in the tournament would have absolutely dumped it very early on. I can certainly see it struggling up against one or two factions. But still, it was very fun. And honestly, masterful micro. I thought it was game over when he lost both his characters in such a short succession, but the rest of the battles went so heavily his way. Really good isolation as well. If you want to watch isolation play, like on the right-hand flank, really kind of, you know, pounding down units and stuff work quite well. Looks like we do have Lizmen versus Wood Elves here, which normally is a haggard, a horrible matchup to play, honestly, for both sides. A load of Glade Goblins, a load of Solar Engines. But I can't remember what both of these guys brought and see if they've gone balanced or not. So we'll have to wait and see. We can see Goblin Slayer's build now, but that's fine. So I'll just let them know to start when ready. Cool, cool, cool. Bring them glory. Oh, yeah. You'll be my favourite player ever. He's got a good chance, honestly. He's got a good chance. He has a tough opponent up first, though. He's up against Carstien, who's a very powerful player in his own right, and that nasty Chaos build. So, Chaos versus Beastmen, you hate to see it. Only that will just follow Palpatine around outside his window every time he plays with like a little banner. Have a nice little fanfare. But if you guys are enjoying, feel free to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. If you are new here, we drop new stuff every single day. And next week as well, on Wednesday, out of nowhere, Death Before Dishonor qualifier number 3 shall be happening. So on a bit of short notice while I'm getting them up and running again. And then the next qualifier will probably honestly be the week after that, and we can start sorting out the finals. And we have 2 of the finalists already, actually. I believe Void, who's playing in this battle, and Ice Power have both already qualified for the finals. So there's only 2 slots left. I just need all the lizards to lose. Well, I think there's 2 lizardmen left. So I believe Raptor has brought lizardmen, and he will be up against Ice Power in the game after this. And Mr. Gobbo Slayer himself as well has gone lizardmen. Honestly, I can't remember their builds, so I'm not sure if they counter yours or not. Oh yeah, man. The Howdar Dread Sorin is actually a really good counter skirmishing tool. If one of these boys has a Dread Saurian and can push off, like rather, or at least keep at arm's length the throwing axes, that would be horrifically bad news for the Beastmen build for sure. Let's have a little sip on my drink. Are you guys excited though for the new Lord, the new Dark Elf Lord who has been announced? I'm pretty excited to get my hands on him. I think he actually comes out Thursday, so I'll probably do a stream or something on Thursday. Just, you know, try him out and kind of bring him to action. Maybe even do a campaign with him. Who knows? Who knows? I know this was more of a multiplayer channel, but if you guys would like to see a campaign with the new Dark Elf Lord, I'll be happy to give it a whirl. I think some people have early access, they might already like put up a load of stuff, so we'll play it by ear a little bit. What's up, Yvonne? My first Dark live stream. Well, I'm very happy to have you here, man. Welcome, Joey, as well. Hope you guys enjoy. So, for the forces of Gobbo Slayer, a man of class, a man of true class, bringing Lord Mazdamundi. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but in my own head canon, which I am slowly forcing to be actual canon, Zlak, the mighty beast here, let's give him a little neck rub, is the actual true ruler of the Lizmen. Mazdamundi is simply a puppet. which Zlak carries into battle so people don't know his true potential. It's continuation with the Ruination of Cities, Banishment, we have Apotheosis, Harmonic Convergence, Net of Amantalk, Sunburst Standard, basically all the standard good stuff. Oh my god, beautiful. Beautiful build here. We have an Ancient Stegodon with Engine of the Gods. Big beams of death going to be falling from the sky. Bastildon with Solar Engine as well. We have Legion of Shakwa, Saurus Warriors dotted through the front line, the normal variety, not spears. We have a couple of Skink cohorts, a couple with javelins, some Skink skirmishers, and the Pohawk Sentinels up in the sky. Now, the really funny thing about this is these guys aren't only going to be getting the missile resistance from the Sunburst Standard, they're also going to be getting the 5% damage resistance ward save and the Legion of Shakwa. So they can be pretty tanky up against... Oh no! Oh no! This is a disgusting one-off build. I believe Puglamon also had a very, very, almost identical build to this. It was slightly different. And it's going to be very powerful. So we have Dryad slotted through the front line. Oh god, have I pressed a... If I pressed a button or something? I don't know why it says Dryad's confident. Oh no, what have I done? I may have pressed some kind of button here that's actually popping up differently, like tooltip-wise. We'll have to sort that out anyway. A load of Eternal Guard in the front line, Dryads in the next line, a Glade Guard of Starfire Shafts, and Hagbane Tips, so a mixture of both in the secondary line. We have a nice lot of cavalry as well to protect this back line, double Glade Riders as well as Wild Riders, 2 units in fact. And yeah, that looks like it's about it. We do have a Spell Sling of Life coming in with the glorious spells of... Oh no, I'm like stuck on Mazdamundi, look at this! What have I done? Let's take that all away. I can't, like, go over any units. I don't know if that's bugged or I pressed a button, but we have Drycha with some form of spells and a Lifecaster with some form of spells. Unfortunately, we can't see them because I've pressed a hotkey, I think. And, yeah, that's my bad. If anyone in chat knows what I've done, let me know. If not, it's not too much. Oh, it's back now, maybe. I can... That's weird. I can look at the Lizardmen units fine. Look. Dun, dun, dun. Go over all of them. As soon as I go into the Wood Elf units, I can't look over them. That's so bizarre. Who knows? Maybe it's a bug. Maybe it is. Kind of sad Dark Elves only got FLC. Well, they might have the DLC still as well. We don't know. Drycha, for example, was a free Legendary Lord as well for the force of the Wood Elves. And we still, of course, got the Sisters of Twilight. Although it is slightly odd. They've announced the free Lord without announcing the DLC. So that does lead me to think maybe Dark Elves won't get the love. But at the same time, Dark Elves aren't in the best position. But if they change them in the patch whatsoever, maybe some buffs and debuffs to certain units, they might become a bit more viable once more. And not unbelievably unplayable, particularly in quite a few matchups. They're pretty nasty. They can be nasty up against Lizardmen. It depends on the players, really, in the builds. Anyway, Glade Guard, Starfire Shafts have been hammered here by the Solar Engine. That Solar Engine is certainly going to have to put in work. You can see Gobbo Slade doing a really good job here. He's moving his front line forward, which may seem odd because he wants to defend this Bastildon, but that's the best way to do it, is to keep the archers at arm's length. There's a lot of big targets for them to shoot so far as well, but that's 3 big Stegodons. I would ignore this front line and just straight go after Glade Guard. Move Mazdamundi, pop him here, move the Thunderous One, go over here, not Thunderous One, the Engine of the Gods. Who's dropping a Beam of Death down the front line, and it's going to be catching 2 units, 1 unit of Dryads and 1 unit of Eternal Guard. And oh my god, look at the damage value! Oh, a beautiful net from Mazdamundi, pinned in those Wood Elf forces. Saurus can now simply push through onto the Glade Guard, but that is a lot of Glade Guard to force their way through. Left-hand flank is being harassed by Glade Riders. Wild Riders are starting to move around as well to hammer in the enemy. Pohawk Sentinels desperately trying to get in. The Ancient Stegodon and Lord Mazdamundi with the Legion of Shakwa's Shield of Shakwa pushing the back line. You need to get... now these guys are running. What you do is you get the Pohawk Sentinels, you chase these guys, and then you bring the Dinos over here and you start working your way along the line. Easier said than done, but the Lizardmen are pouring through the gaps in the Wood Elf formation. Looks like a big rock drop did go down by the Pohawks. I would definitely bring them over here where they're not going to get counter shot by multiple units, because now the Lizardmen, large dinosaurs, will get isolated fighting like this together, allowing the Glade Guard to once again stabilize their battle line. Equally, if the Glade Guard use up all their ammunition though, finishing off the rest of the Lizardmen build, then these guys will very comfortably be able to carry. There's simply nothing in the Wood Elf build which can deal with them apart from the archers. Poor Solar Engine Garrett here in the back lines is going to be getting surrounded by Drycha as well as a summoned unit of Dryads. Legion Shakwa will be abandoning him, but there is still hope yet for the Lizardmen forces. Saurus Warriors doing an okay job, but they are completely surrounded at this point by Wild Riders, who will be cycle charging them to death, doing some pretty big boom damage to them. Saurus Warriors over here cleaning up Dryads. Now this Wood Elf build is very scary, but again, with the build roulette, imagine this up against the Centaur build. Jeez, the Centaurs would just run over the Glade Guard. The Ancient Stegodon is taking quite a few shots. He's putting his body on the line, literally, to save Mazdamundi, which is quite funny. And oh no, once again a disaster. A big net is going to be coming down. Surely the Ancient Stegodon has lined up a shot here. Oh, it looks like a Ruination of Cities is going to be going down instead. Unfortunately, the Ancient Stegodon will probably fare a little less well. That last shot reaping havoc down the line, doing some massive damage there, and a banishment to boot. That is certainly one unit done for, and the second unit is getting clobbered as well. The net pinning them in place as the wrath of the old ones falls upon them. Skinks as well as Saurus trying to get into the back line, but there's a lot of drives left around. Mazdamundi is incredibly healthy at this moment. Glade Guard are running for the hills as we speak. Lord Mazdamundi continuing to pressurise in. May want to come over here and save Gary. He'll do some good damage to the Wild Riders as well as Drycha, and if he can get Gary back online, those shots coming in will really help break off the Glade Guard. This is such a close game with two very awesome builds. Wild Riders who bound across the battlefield, desperately trying to get the aid of their allies. It looks like we do have a summon of the Dryads coming down. Now they're going to pin in Lord Mazdamundi, as well as the Bastildon, while Wild Riders bounce over here to save their Spellsing of Life, who was in big trouble. And there's nothing quite as ferocious as a unit of Wild Riders bounding towards you with fury in their eyes. Spellsing of Life, though, takes a big shot from Gary straight to the face, although it looks like a ton of Glade Guard are back online, and this is a disaster for not being able to chase them off. Surely the Odd Ones has gone down by Mazdamundi, but there's a lot of enemy pressure that can come on the field. Mazdamundi might want to snipe Drycha at this moment, or simply fall out of bow range. It looks like the Spellsing of Life has been dealt a final blow, but the Lizardmen really struggling now. Gary needs to get some big shots in. He's currently going after the Wild Riders. Probably wants to shoot the Glade Guard, but I don't think there's enough to stop them. A really good effort by Gobbo Slayer here with the builds they had. But it is looking a little rough. However, never count out Lord Mazdamundi. Still 3,626 health. Plenty of potential left if he kills Drycha and gets another banishment or two down on these guys. But it looks like he is going to throw in the town there. Yeah, that Ruination was scary. Oh, well, it's not me, it's not my lobby, so that might explain why. Maybe Gobbo Slayer was playing some legendary games. I'll make sure next time I hop into a lobby that that's not set. Cheers, though, Pop Palpatine, for letting me know what was going on there. So, the mighty Lord Mazdamundi, 86 kills, 1,877 damage value. Good solid work by him. And across the board, mainly the big dinosaurs that did the damage. Gary of the Solar Engine, 1,200. And the beautiful Ancient Stegodon, Beam of Death from the Sky, did 99 kills, 1,100 damage value. But it was real counter build, to be honest, from Bellicor, also known as the Void here. And good play as well. Drycha getting 1,000 damage value. And of course, the main units didn't do too much. It's basically the archers we're looking for. 800 damage value here. 1,100, 1,100, 1,100, 900. Oh, disgusting work by them. And good protection as well with the cavalry. This is going to be one tough build to beat. Equally, though, there's a few builds we've seen so far I think might just be able to do it. GG. Close game. That was very close at the death there. Oh god, don't talk about Dread Knights. Yeah, the Lizardman matchup is weird. Like, a load of people hate, some Dark Elf players, particularly Ice Power, hates the Lizardman matchup. A load of Dark Elf players love the Lizardman matchup. It's a really weird one. I think at the top level, it's quite hard for Dark Elves, but at like mid to lower tier like levels of play, it's relatively even and fine. But yeah, at the top, it's kind of hard to do. It's the same way for Lizardman and Dowie. See you in the semis. It's like the Dowie. Like a Dowie Lizardman is always considered relatively even at like a mid-tier level, but at like a top-tier level, I think it very much heavily favours the Dino Boys. So let's load into the last one, which is Ice Power versus Raptor. This is the last of the quarterfinals. Still 2 semis and a finals to go, though, so don't go anywhere yet. Still have plenty of awesome games left to come. So where is Dark Elf Power? I feel is going to be the name of the lobby. Let's check it out. I mean, Ice Power, honestly, I got in a tournament against Noob for Life, who's a really good Dino player, and I picked Dark Elves and managed to beat him. It's certainly possible. You have to go real static, I think. Like, ignore Dark Rise Repeater Crossbows and stuff, which are like often like a common pick and stuff. Instead, go load of Dark Shards, Shades, all that kind of good stuff. Yo, yo! So, The next map shall be... Let's go... Have a look through all our glorious maps. River Amaxon. Amaxon is the map. There we go. Bad difficulty normal, cool. So hopefully our HUD should be back. Which is fitting for the Dark Elf, yeah, of course. Yeah, Dark Elves are a little bit on the kinky side, a little bit on the edgy side. And should be some good fun. Hope you guys are enjoying so far. Looks like we've managed to rattle through the quarterfinals rather quickly. Only been streaming for a short amount of time. But that is kind of the good thing of this format, right? It's very snappy, and you get to see a lot of glorious stuff in the work straight away. Looks like the guys are ready to go, so we will load in here. I'm a big fan of Raptor's Lord choice. We'll get to him in just a second. It's only fitting the Lizardmen face battle here on River Amaxon. Them also, yeah, true. Oh, I'm excited. I'm very excited for our semi-finals as well. They're going to be pretty crazy stuff. I just want to see more of that Centaur build, honestly. It's kind of blown my mind a little bit. So for the forces of the glorious Raptor, the meme god himself, king of the memes they call him. There's certainly nothing memey about this. He's got a pretty solid build all around. We have, it looks like he's going to be deploying a little bit further back, so wait for him to line up some troops to start with. And maybe we'll go after the Dark Elf build first, as they're already kind of in position. So for the force of the Dark Elves, we have double Throw Manticore up in the sky, supporting Marathi, who is also going to be up on her Mighty Hellsteed here, or Dark Pegasus is what I actually believe it's called. She is going to be coming in with her Wand, Soul Stealer, and that looks just about it. Of course, all her buffs and debuffs, which are incredibly powerful. Main battle line shall be Bleak Swords as well as Dread Spears dotted throughout the front line. And then a huge cavalry contingent. We have Cold One Knights, we have Sinestros Halfsters, which are the regiment of renowned Doomfire Warlocks. A couple of units as well of Dark Riders, looks like 3 in fact, to really try and pressurize enemy skirmishers. And in the very central pocket we do have 2 units of Sisters of Slaughter. And if you're wondering why people are calling the Dark Elves people who like are a little bit edgy, they're basically half-naked ladies with whips who wear face masks. So, yeah, understandable. For the forces of the Dinos, the mighty Lizardmen here to stop the evil raids, I'm sure, of the Dark Elves. We do have a Gary, in other words, a Bastillon with a solar engine. We have the Star Chamber Guardians, one of my favourite units thematically in the game. Bad to the bones with those black skulls on their heads and their mighty halberds to cleave asunder enemy armour. We have some skink cohorts with javelins as well to back them up, as well as the cohort of Sotek. We have horned ones, okay, maybe a little bit mean from Raptor. We do have double horned ones who are disgustingly powerful cavalry, but they rampage and are also disgustingly expensive, just as they are deadly. We have some Cold One Rise to help protect them, and his Lord choice, we have a red-crested Skink Chief, which is a character I really love quite a lot, and he looks so cool on his horned one here. Look at him, just like, yeah, go, his mount's bigger than he is, coming in with a Warrior Crest, as well as Potion of Strength and Opal Amulet, a badass for sure. And up in the skies, you have a Skink Priest of Beast, Lock of Doom, and Manticore Summon, assisted by some Pterodon Riders. Awesome builds, honestly. Who's your money on, guys? Oh, sisters talk dirty. Why did they stop worshipping Slaanesh? Probably for some kind of lore reason, I'm assuming. Good luck, have fun, my friend, both the players are saying. The sisters can do a lot of decent work. Oh no, I've closed my... Oh no, there we go. Sorry, I closed chat quickly. You guys are back. And so are we, so Gary does push forward. It's really funny because my best mate's dad is called Gary. So it's really funny to see a Bastillon name him Gary. Whenever I do writing, I always name like the most insane, lunatical, like evil sorcerer Gary, because it's such like a mundane name for such a character. But here we go, Lizardmen are going to be cautiously approaching. Now, I don't like the horned ones going into the trees here, because they have a huge potential to be swarmed. They need to immediately pull back, like, immediately. Like, go over here instantly. Looks like that's just what they're going to be doing. Reform the line, just rotate. You don't have to push into the trees. Your opponent is allowed to move through the trees, but he can't just stand there and wait for you to fight. So, literally just pull out and you do not have to go towards them. Turtle Rides are going to be floating over the left-hand side here. Thorcane screams ice power with a blood-curdling roar, I'm sure. Pterodon Rise floating over. They could simply flop over here and just start poking down at the Sisters of Slaughter. Wouldn't be the worst idea. And that's like just what the Bastillion's going to do. Dark Rise burst forth as we have a huge flank overload. All of the cavalry and flying units are committing to this side. I would abandon the Skinks, use them as a distraction to fall back and flee, as a big Soul Stealer does come down and catch a lot of these units. But it looks like the cavalry fight is going to happen whether the Lizardmen like it or not, as they're a bit isolated over on that flank. Red Crested Skink isn't there to support, neither with the Pterodons or the Skink Priest. So this is a bit of a disaster for the Lizardmen out the gate. Colin Rise is getting destroyed by Snatcher's Harvesters. Word of Pain has been popped on them. Ferromanticores are currently surrounded. We do have a big fat Soul Stealer coming down, but also a Manticore Summon has been birthed into the world here, which needs to drop down and hunt down the enemy Manticores, who are currently now surrounded. Big Flock of Doom coming down as well. Real meaty fight here in the back lines. As for the front line, the Dark Elves simply roaming through the Lizardmen. They didn't have too much punch in their build there. Where are the Temple Guard? The Temple Guard are in this big blob. Okay, this is brilliant. This is really good news for Raptor, because now the Ferromanticores are rampaging. Temple Guard are going to be good against literally everything in this blob. It looks like nice micro by Ice Power. Dark Rise are bouncing in and out of combat in an attempt to break these units, but in comes the Manticore. Both Manticores for the Dark Elves have been forced off. Gary is continuously firing as well, and the Pterodon Rise have flopped over top of this battle, although I think they definitely want to start poking down those Sisters of Slaughter, because they're going to be a nightmare to deal with in the late game, considering most of the Lizardmen cavalry has been dealt with at this point. And, you know, the Temple Guard, they're elite, but they don't want to fight those guys all day. Up in the sky, poor little Skink Priest is being harassed by Marathi, who's claiming it's Mother's Day and wants a present, but he's not having any of it. She's actually riding side by side with him at the moment. Once again, another big debuff is going to be going down here. What is it? It is a Soul Stealer, of course, and the Soul Stealer goes down, leaking the strength from the Horned Ones as well as the Star Chamber Guardians. Poor little Red Crested Skink Chief is having to run for his life at the moment. Bastillon is trying to push its way through a load of spears, and he has a thick armoured hide, but of course there is weak spots, mainly his eyes and his bum, and it looks like the spearmen are desperately trying to find it, as well as Marathi, and it looks like it could be all over for this glorious Lizardmen build. The memes were there with the double horned ones, but the memes fell, as the Co-op Sotek holding the line desperately up against those crazy Fnatic Sisters, but in come a lovely rear charge from Ice Power with the Celestial Harvesters, just to shatter the resolve of those Lizardmen forces. Red Crested Skink Chief is continuing to fight alongside the elite Horned Ones, and the Star Chamber Guardians have been a real solid backbone for the forces of the Lizardmen, but despite them having, you know, a decent output, I think, let's have a little look what they've done so far. Yeah, over a 1,100 damage value and still going strong with about half health. It's now they're facing the Sisters, a unit they really don't want to face in hand-to-hand combat. Oh, I forgot to update the name. Oh no! Sorry about that. Yeah, this is Raptor versus Ice Power. Raptor with the Lizardmen, Ice Power with the Dark Elves, and it looks like Ice Power is going to claim a victory. However, one last spell is going to go unnoticed in the deep. It looks like a misclick from Marathi, but alas, it does not matter, with the last of the cohort of Sotek fighting it to the bitter end. And yeah, they're going to be cleaving with their mighty great axes, but there's a lot of angry Dark Elves here. These horses really need a new hygiene regime. Whoever looks after the horses for the Dark Elves does an absolutely horrific job of it, but I'm not sure they care too much, as the elves on top don't look like they're in much better shape whatsoever. The better shape than the Red Crested Skinks here, unfortunately, who are going down there and paying the cost for coming into the battlefield and opposing the Dark Elf forces. Yeah, apologies about not changing the thing. We kind of got away rather quickly. But yes. That was some pretty wild stuff. Well played both the players, though. Raptor did what he could, and actually, you know, claw apart a decent amount of Dark Elves as well. Did a really good surround on those Manticores, but the flank overload, there's a good example for you guys of how disgustingly powerful a flank overload can be. Half the Lizardmen force was simply stranded and couldn't do too much, and the rest did have to commit, and normally one-on-one it would have probably won those fights, but it had to commit in drips and grabs, whereas the Ice Power kind of came in with a gigantic iron fleshy fist and just punched that flank, and as we can see, nothing really did too well apart from the Star Chamber Guardians, who performed pretty admirably. Horned Ones as well, yeah, really struggling. My god, you know, Horned Ones getting 178 damage value and getting wiped out to the last man. Yeah, that is scary stuff. Dark Elves have some really nasty blob kind of like debuffs and so forth. 2,100 damage value on Marathi. The infantry just did its job, nothing too crazy. Double Sisters did some good work. Only 500 damage value on this one, but pretty much full health. The other one, 1,229. Good cycle charging with the Dark Riders, and the Cold One Knights and Snatchers Harvesters did decent work as well. 900 damage value on one, 2061 on the other, plus those buffs they could bring it to the fray, or debuffs I should say. Double Ferromancer Core, one went down without much of a scrap, the other one continued to go strong with 1545 damage value. Scary stuff indeed. GG, well played. Sexy ladies are stronger than great plans. See, the great plan always goes well, until unfortunately they get distracted by some sexy ladies. So, Ice, can you create a lobby for second semis with Void? Cool, and then we'll go back now, and it will be Papa Palpatine versus Von Carstien. There we go, off the top of my head. Thank you. See you lads soon. Both Raptor and Ice Power. Really cool people, by the way. If you ever see them on lobby and whatnot, please do say hi to them. Super nice guys and have supported the channel as well for an incredibly long time. I think Raptor's been around since we had like 100 subs. It was some wild stuff for sure. So let's pop over here and hop into the next one. And I will remember to change the names this time, hopefully. So it shall be Von versus Palpatine. Let's actually put those in before we even join the lobby. That's how prepared we shall be. So it is going to be Von Carstien. Let's make his name a bit smaller so it fits in the box. And the right hand side we will go with the honorary title of Palpatine, which is Papa P. This game is going to be wild once more. I'm very excited to see it in action. So let's hop in and say what up to the guys. I thought I saw it down here just a second ago. Where are you hiding? Ice Power versus Void is for the next round. There we go. Ah, there. Let's go. There we go. Ha! Caught ya. Chaos Spearsmen and Dark Elves in the semis. It proves to show they are the best factions in the game. You can't really argue. Oh yeah, that Wood Elf build's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for them, I think, for sure. But it's a nice Wood Elf build. Pokemon bought a very similar build as well, but got kind of counterpicked by Greenskin Force, I think, which made it really hard for him. So, map-wise, we shall indeed do a Starlian Tomb, I think. I think that's going to be a pretty fun one. Hey there, Cloven Ones. Join the slaughter with us. Hey, hey. Starlian Tomb shall be the map. Let's make sure. Yeah, normal battle difficulty, so we still be able to see everything. That's kind of funny that it stops your multiplayer from looking at enemy units if you're on the hard mode. What's up, Emmanuel? How's it going? Hope you're all good, my dude. Quack, quack indeed. So this has actually performed very, very well versus Lizmen, assuming chameleons aren't there. That is true. There's a big assumption, though. Chameleons, of course, are very popular in said matchup. But yeah, I agree. They slaughter a lot of the infantry very quickly. And even though surrounding some of the larger entities and cavalry and so forth, they still have a huge damage output and can do some pretty scary stuff. Just going to quickly reply to a text message on my phone. This is a little bit urgent. Cool, and I am back, guys. Horned ones seem so good, but why are they so expensive? Yeah, that's the problem. Horned ones on paper seem good, but horned ones in real existence are not good. There's a few players who can make them work, and I know Noob for Life likes to use them. Falcon did way back in the day, and use them to some good effect, but at the same time, just because a good player uses a unit and can make it look good doesn't make the unit actually good for the masses, I assume, basically, because some units are either just really hard to use, or the player is so good it doesn't matter what units they bring, it's just going to be scary. So we've already gone over the builds before. Of course, this is our first semi-final here, and there's still 3 games to go, so plenty of carnage left. Von Carstien coming with Chaos Warriors, Marauders, and Mirror Guard as well for front line. Just to recap your memories, this was a couple of games ago now. We have Summoners of Rage, Sigvald the Magnificent, there we go, if I can say his name properly. I'm sure he'll be ashamed by that. 2 Manticores up in the sky, one of which is Feral, one of which is a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, Fireball, Burnhead, all that good stuff. A ton of Horsemen, and a couple of nice little Warhounds. And of course, you can't forget this build. This build is one that sticks into your mind, and it's just a bucket ton of Centaurs through the front line. Khazrak One-Eye, we have 4 units of Throwing Axes, a Bray Shaman of Wild with none of those pesky summons. We have Viltard and Bray Scream instead, and some great weapons to boot, including, of course, those Throwing Axes so key in the last game. Now, the Manticore is going to be a big problem here, as well as the Skirmish core of the Chaos. It's going to be hard for them to win the Skirmish game, Chaos, but if they can just hold off and do the damage in the late game, they're going to be pretty pivotal and vital here. Equally, the Chaos build may just get straight run over by the Beastmen. Who knows? Who knows? I used to like them versus Norska. Norska are really fun, actually. I really like Norskans. Yes, this is a Slaughterer quite good against elite infantry. I feel up against cheaper infantry. They also they do a lot of damage, yeah, sure, but they also lose a bit of health. They're kind of like Slayers in that aspect. I know they're a different type of unit and stuff, but like Slayers will, for example, beat a unit of Skinks, but you don't want them fighting Skinks. Because overall, money-wise, 1, it's not worth their time, and 2, you're going to be losing more health than it's worth to kill the enemy, basically. Looks like the lads may be ready to go. Ready, good luck, have fun. This is going to be crazy. Like, every game with this Beastmen building is going to be absolutely wild. So, scream for Khorne if you would like Von Carstien to win, and scream for Khorne if you would like Papa Palpatine to win, because the forces of chaos have collided here. Only one can remain victorious. I really hope Beastmen get that DLC soon, and we get to see some fun units, because thematically they're actually pretty cool and fun. But, they're just a little bit damp noodle at the moment, unfortunately. And here we go, the slaughter shall begin. Centaurs are just vibing for now. The actual Force of Chaos may catch them off guard, but Palpatine, Micro, of course, top notch as always, is going to immediately charge into the fray. Fireball does come in, and it looks like it's going straight after that to Bray Shaman of Wild. It arcs and curves like it's from the film The Wanted, and completely misses. Chaos Warhounds are poison are forcing off some of these Centaurs. They need to be careful not to overextend, though, because they could be in big trouble. Lovely catch with the Chaos Pharaoh Manticore, though, bombarding this unit of Centaurs. Chaos Warhounds going to strand them as well, and that is a dead unit of Centaurs. However, Throwing Axes are here to support. Can Kobe some shots in and do some nice damage. More Centaurs are having to flee back, and a load of units have been caught in, including the Marauder Horsemen. This is a very bad engagement for them. Centaurs of Throwing Axes are floating over, as well as Khazrak One-Eye. Looks like for the most part they're able to just about pull through the trap of the Centaurs. Warhounds are dealt with at this moment, but at the cost of a unit of Centaurs themselves. Bray Shaman is rolling dangerously close to the Summoners of Rage, and definitely doesn't want to be anywhere near that Finn, because the Manticore can be used to pin him in. And in comes the flank overload. Throwing Axes are afoot, as well as great weapons, pressurizing the infantry. Centaurs are roaming across the entire battle. Khazrak One-Eye will just assassinate all of the infantry in this build if you give him the opportunity. This is not too bad for Von Carstien. He's forcing off 3 units of Centaurs. No Throwing Axes are nearby with the Summons of Rage, but they are going to be needed back in the fray once more. A big fat fireball going it down range onto the Bray Shaman of Wild, who's kind of being harassed by a Feral Manticore, which is very bad news, and an Overcast coming in, although the Viltide does catch some Chaos Marauders as well as Warriors. It looks like the leadership of the Beastmen may be done with here. I don't know if they're going to be able to elude the Manticore for too long. Looks like Throwing Axes are desperately trying to get over here in a desperate attempt to support. Khazrak One-Eye has been chased down by a Sorcerer of Fire, although there's a lot of support on over. There's also the Summons of Rage nearby, so the Centaur pocket has managed to collapse on some horsemen and now needs to flee back, distract the Summons of Rage, allow Throwing Axes to go over here and help support. And it looks like the Warriors of Chaos are doing a really good job so far of managing the Beastmen forces, but Palpatine, scrapping and clawing as always, has managed to save his Bray Shaman here with the support of double Throwing Axes. And just as I say that, the Bray Shaman takes a huge hit and could well be dead here. Takes a ton of friendly fire as well, and yeah, curse of the commentator, Chaos Pharaoh Manticore just butchers the Bray Shaman. It looks like they are going to manage to turn this around, surround the Manticore, pin it in place, allow that Shaman to come back, Lovely play there by Palpatine to rescue that bad situation. Centaurs and Great Weapons are collapsing at this flank on this side, and it looks like both Throne Axes are now getting decent shots into the main force of the enemy. Summons of Rage have been surrounded at this point by Centaurs with Great Weapons, but it looks like a fat burning head is going to roast them alive. Kazrak One Eye is dueling the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire. He will win that engagement, you would like to think, being a mighty Beast Lord himself, but it's not. He's better against infantry realistically. He's anti-infantry, but he's going to be poking that Shaman Sorcerer down into lovely damage. Probably best to stay and fight and then drag over the Summons of Rage, and that's just what's going to happen. And unfortunately, like the first semi-final, it looks like the Beastmen have an opportunity here to perhaps lose both of their characters straight away. But lovely micro, Kazrak the One Eye by Palpatine has been pulled away, but a big overcast fireball to the back of the dome, doing massive burst damage, and Kazrak is fleeing. Manticore going to look to try and pin him in place, allow the Summons of Rage to catch up. He needs to try and find some allies and find them quickly, and it looks like he may be broken here instead. In the distance, Centaurs are rushing to his aid, and it looks like the Brave Shaman did survive over here and coming back to once again lead the forces of the Beastmen in an attempt to glory. Centaurs with Throne Axes going to be going into hand-to-hand glorious combat in an attempt to run over these Chaos Warriors with Great Weapons, and that is just what they achieved there. In the distance, unfortunately, Kazrak the One Eye has been proven to be a blind man. He has no eyes anymore and has been forced off from the sneaky play of that Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Beautiful play by Von Carstien with those fireballs to really kind of dish the damage out to him, and there's no way he is going to survive that. Summons of Rage are pretty healthy as well, so there's so many Chaos troops left around. It's going to be really tough for Palpatine, I think, to pull this one out of the bag. He once again does have a decent amount of ammunition left on his Throne Axes. He's going to have to kite the crap out of those Summons of Rage as well as the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, but there is some horsemen who can counter-skirmish him rather effectively. Good news for him is Brave Shaman has rallied. Just as I say that, the Brave Shaman decides, you know what, I didn't really fancy this battle, I got bad vibes from it. And is -3 leadership and running for some bizarre reason. He still has 600 health, that's not too shabby. And he should realistically rally here, I'd like to think, and come back to the fray. Balance power isn't that bad. One big negative that the Force Beastmen are going to have to deal with is Prince Sigvald. Like, Prince Sigvald's not going to care. You can throw axes at him all day. You can surround him. You can poke him down. There's not much you can actually do to kill him. Big fat fireball goes in after the Centaurs with throwing axes. Might have been worth saving that one for the Brave Shaman in case he rallies. I have no idea why this guy's breaking. He's still, enough health, I think. 600 health. I mean, maybe it's percentage-wise. It's not looking too great. Throne Axes are launching shots in on top of the Summoners of Rage, desperately trying to claw their way back into the battle. Centaurs as well, lurking on every single angle, waiting to pounce to try and break down this Chaos Force. And it looks like the Chaos Warriors, though, doing a good job. Mirror Guard being put on the front line to raise those hefty shields and protect the Summoners of Rage. Instead, are going to use the force of Centaurs in the back line. Both these guys with Throne Axes are well, unfortunately, going to be taking pretty big losses. Chaos Sorcerer of Fire is a pretty sketchy situation, however, because the Throne Axes can do some really lovely damage to them. The Marauder Horsemen are being forced off as well. Centaurs crash down on the Chaos Warriors, and the Beastmen just picking, probing, trying to rip this build apart, isolate units and hammer them down. But unfortunately for them, there's still this fire castle, although he hits a big fat tree and can't even set that ablaze. Not a skilled caster there whatsoever. And the Centaurs, though, are fleeing and being pushed off. Army losses unfortunately setting in, and the lack of leadership really punishing the Beastmen once more. If they had a leader here, if they had Kazrak, he could easily mow down the Mirror Guard, and the Centaurs would continue to fight a little bit tougher. But this Sorcerer of Fire has certainly been the MVP so far for the Warriors of Chaos. Army losses has kicked in, and unfortunately, the mighty Centaurs have fallen. That was scary. Yes. His Void Ice Power, Void Lords, is Be'lakor. So Von Carstien doing a pretty damn good job there. Very impressive work to take down the mighty Palpatine. Both players played absolutely phenomenal, honestly. Huge micro on both parts. Summons of Rage got the key kills without the most insane damage. Feral Manticore performed rather brilliantly here, though. 1,200 damage value, and the Sorcerer Manticore, 1,795. Also helping assassinate Kazrak One Eye, eliminating that big threat. Prince Sigvald just looked magnificent and kind of stood around as a lot of his ground troops fell around him, but he himself was basically unscathed. The beautiful Mirror Guard, only 500 damage value, but still have plenty left to give. And the skirmish contingent did okay as well, just stopping and probing and pushing back Palpatine's build every time they harassed. Casual One Eye can do very well, but again, he is pretty squishy and there is no healing. Equally for the Brave Shaman without those summons. The Centaurs did pretty good across the board. Again, the Great Weapons, 101 kills here, 25, 34, 39, doing pretty good work. And the Thrown Axes were, again, quite key, but unfortunately didn't get to use up all that ammunition. So none of the craziest damage value stats like previously. We just have kind of mid 400s and 600s and so forth for that. Summons of Rage were too much with the short range, yeah, for sure. And then they managed to force off a lot of troops and surround other people. Too much micro for one person. I mean, he migrated pretty well in both battles, but yeah, that's going to stress anyone's micro, I agree. It's really hard to do these kind of full cavalry builds. But Palpatine making it all the way to the semi-finals and putting on a really good show for you guys. So I hope you did enjoy his performance. I certainly did as well. See you in the finals. Fun. Please make a lobby. And well played, Puppy. Best build of the tourney, for sure. Oh, he's left. No! Well, Palpatine, if you are listening, I think we can all agree that build should win its own separate award for the greatest build. That was insane stuff. Up next, though, we do have Ice Power coming up against Void. So let's update the scoreboard quickly so I don't forget to do the names. So the right-hand side, no doubt, will be the legendary and mighty Void. And this is quite funny because this is actually 2 finalists from DBD who will eventually be going up against each other, perhaps. It depends, obviously, on how the bracket falls for the finals, but they've both qualified in the first 2 qualifiers so far. And speaking about Death Before Dishonor, let me drop you guys a little link. This is a link to a tournament that will be hosted next Wednesday. There we go. Next Wednesday at 4 PM. DVD's back, baby. And there's still qualifiers to go. We've got 2 qualifiers, in fact. So, yes. Painting and Duck is a decent combo. What's up, Slunge Spaghetti? How's it going, man? Hope you're all good. And, man, if you have some decent paintings, please do drop them. We have an art section in the Discord. I'd be a big fan. I'm a big fan of art in general. I'm a terrible artist myself, but I do quite a lot. And I'll be interested to see what you do. So let's load in. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be tough for the Dark Elves, I think. There's a lot of bows to shut down. Yeah, glorious build by Papa. Man, that was wild. If he does a merge once again in chat, make sure to congratulate him on his beautiful build. So map is... Let's see what I was going to do, because I had it in mind. Have we done a Stalin tomb yet? Maybe it was meant to be a Stalin tomb. It was... So I'm trying to mix kind of small maps, medium maps, and big maps together. Let's look through. I cannot see it. Maybe we do Summer Song. Let's go for Summer Song. I think that's actually quite a big map, but I seem to remember it being a solid enough map. Oh no, this map might be terrible. Oh, we'll go with it. We'll see how it goes. It'll be an experiment anyway. Bit of an experiment, so it should be fine. Yeah, man, there's a few real decent artists in the Total Warhammer community. I know Ryder of Rohan does art as well. Yeah, that's the thing, Hank. Like, it's such a mix of, like, build roulette with this style. If Palpatine had come up against the Wood Elf build, he would just run it over. And there's basically nothing Void could do to counter it. It's just, you know, I'm going to rush you. Good luck defending your, like, 12 archer units. It doesn't go very well, but, again, it's a bit of luck of the dice. A little bit of luck of the dice. But it's a fun tournament format. I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll be trying to look to push it again in the future if, you know, if people enjoy it. Just let me know. And you can let me know by dropping that big old thumbs up, subscribing if you're new to the channel. We drop glorious Total Warhammer content every single day. There will be another replay out as well. I think we've got a replay from Walt the Salt that might be going up on the channel. I have to record it still, so that may not happen, it may happen. I think he sent in a Grimgore replay that was pretty awesome and badass, showcasing the great one himself. The biggest and the baddest. Ooh, let's have a nice little stretch. And grab a little bit of our drink. I think Anticity does art as well, or am I mistaken? I haven't seen any art by Anticity. I know King of the Hill, or King of the Dead, does do some art, but it's certainly something. If you can find some King of the Dead art, it's worth a lot of money these days. It's pretty wild, is the best way to put it. Glacial Lake is a map I quite like, but people don't like it in Torments because you can't see where arrows are going, and you can kind of camp around the little hole in the ground as well. Yeah, Tyrion's wife, I think, actually creates a lot of stuff, like books, like no books for stuff for people, dice holders, loads of cool, she does a load of cool stuff. She's got her little store that I've checked it out before. I'm tempted to buy some stuff from there as well in the future. Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of classic tournament and tabletop style. So it's tabletop style in terms of, you come with your list and you fight on the battlefield, and what you get is what you get, and you either have to go all in and risk the fact you may be counterpicked, or you go really balanced. But we're not doing tabletop rules, we're sticking to tournament rules from the Warhammer community, basically. Okay, so we've seen both these builds before, but we'll do a quick little recap, of course. And it looks like they're both going to be deploying at the very back start before lining up their troops. So end up in the air for Ice Power. We do have a double Feral Manticore, as well as Marathi, of course. And looking particularly ferocious in that flying core. We have a ton of Spearmen, Bleak Sword, Swordsmen, double Sisters of Slaughter, who will be very good up against the Dryas, will take horrendous damage to those pesky archers. And this section right here is probably the most important out of Ice Power's entire build. We have triple Dark Riders, as well as one of Cold War Knights and Slesh's Harvesters. They have to shut down the Glade Guard. They have to shut down the Glade Guard gun line. Otherwise, there's literally no hope. As for the else, we have Dryads across the line, load of Glade Guard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, so not quite as much as I thought there was actually. Only 5. I've seen people literally bring like 12 Glade Guard before. Or maybe not 12, like 8 or 9 Glade Guard. It's really hard to protect. And this is bad enough, but they are protected by Eternal Guard. A lovely little skirmish contingent as well. We have Wild Riders mixed in with Glade Riders to help protect the back line. Use them defensively. There's no need to get aggressive with them. 2 Wild Riders, 2 Glade Riders. We do have a Spellsing of Life. We can see has Earthblood now. And Drycha coming in with Pendulum, Melkov's Mystifying Miasma, as well as the Summon. Now, Drycha is someone who I don't think got enough love in competitive play for quite some time. And people are now starting to use her far more. People were really overhyped by Sisters of Twilight when they first came out. And they are very good, and Orion's buffs and changes also made him very powerful. But Drycha is so cheap for what she brings to the table. She is very scary for sure. And this should be a fun one. Now, Ice Power is the master of the flank overload. He does it a lot, and we saw in previous games up against Raptor. So if he can crumple a flank of these Glade Riders, it's going to be a real nuisance and kind of tough time for Void to deal with. But who's your money on? Who is your money on? What's up, Spooky Skelly Skeleton? How are you today, man? Hope you're all good and nice and chilled. Marathi. Looking all well, actually she's meant to be beautiful, wasn't she? But I feel like she would just creep me out. Marafi's strange. Oh, so she has like a strange magical allure enchanting people, so you don't have much of a choice, unfortunately. There's going to be advancing at this point. The Wood Elves as well are going to be kind of slowly coming towards the Dark Elf force. And it looks like we may have a flank overload committed to this side pretty much forcefully because of the way the deployment has gone down. We have the Harvesters and Cold War Knights on this flank, as well as the Flying Corps. Need to whip around and real pressurize where possible. Glade Guard, though, can do nice crossfire action. They are peppering down the Dark Riders, who are shielded. Not going to do the most insane amount of damage. A wand has come down on the Starfire Shaft. Bleak Swords are taking those shots on their mighty shields. And this is a big problem for Ice Power, though. If his Manticores take too much damage, they will rampage just directly down into the enemy. Oh my god, that was disgusting! That was disgusting. The Glade Guard take massive damage. The Dark Riders attempt to push in to shatter them, but Eternal Guard are pushed in. Lovely play by Belcourt, or Void as we're calling him because that's his normal name, with Dreichlo to shut down the Dark Riders. Looks like they are going to be able to trade, breaking each other off the battlefield, and also distracting a load of the Wood Elf forces, as now more Glade Riders do go down, but a well-timed summon of Dryades is going to keep all these units pinned in. More cavalry is trying to whip around to the flank, but the Glade Guard quite happy right now to just unleash hell from the safety of the back lines here. Sedge Harvesters just go absolutely slaughtered by Bowfire, and the Glade Guard, yeah, looking pretty happy. Beautiful micro by Ice Paladin forces his way through the Eternal Guard, and now the back line is well and truly open. We have Dark Riders, 2 units on the back line into the Glade Guard. We have a Feral Manticore coming down. Cold War Knights as well need to swoop in, pressure the Wild Riders. Looks like Marathi is going to go after them. You just need to pin those Wild Riders in place, allow you to clear up all the rest of these units, and in comes the Dark Elf Infantry Corps. Sisters of Slaughter slaughtering their way through Elf and Tree alike. Another unit of Sisters has popped on top of the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. Now, Wild Riders are here and are doing a pretty decent job saturating on top of those Eternal Guard, peppering down the Manticores. One has Rampage, and he's in a fight he doesn't want to be in. The second unit of Glade Guard are going to be trying to make the other one Rampage, although his big attack animation does set him free. Maybe wants to pop on this Spellsong of Life just to finish them off. Glade Guard are stabilising. 2 units have been dealt with, but the third one looks to be relatively safe. Cold War Knights in the background have been stopped by Eternal Guard, but again, beautiful micro. Ice Power's been on point recently. Spam clicking his way through with the Cold War Knights to hunt down the Glade Guard once more. This is such a messy, close fight. Both players doing some... The Wild Rider play's been really good to try and save the Glade Guard, but the pressure's been so heavy. So there's a Slaughter currently chasing off a unit and now coming back. It looks like they're finishing off those Glade Guard who are shattered. Front line of Dryads is holding at the moment. They are starting to fall. A beautifully timed Pendulum coming down on those Dread Spears, but Ice Power spots it and pulls back. Sisters of Slaughter now getting into the meat and grind of the battle. Dark Riders are going to finish off some of the routing troops. Good to have a unit of these guys on the periphery of the battlefield. And a big fat wand is going to come down, and this is going to be scary as the Eternal Guard are bunched up. 70 models at the moment. Down comes a death from afar. Down to 56. That was pretty disgusting. Main blob fight, we do have a summon of Dryads attempting to support Dreicher, but there's 2 Sisters of Slaughter here doing a good job with a Feral Manticore and Marathi. Dreicher certainly out of her depth at the moment. Spellsong of Life has been forced off as well. I don't think there's much now that can stop the Dark Elf Legions. Dryads desperately trying their best to hold the line. It looks like Wild Riders have been forced off and Void is going to bow out there. That was basically game over. She's beautiful on the outside but foul on the inside. Yeah. PogChamp, is that... Are you talking about PogChamps as in... I don't know if PogChamps are saying, or if... Because I know it from the YouTuber and Twitch streamer like chess tournament film PogChamps, maybe. Well played to both these champs though. Belcourt did a good job up against a lot of cavalry pressure. Dreicher held the line for a decent amount of time. Her summons were well timed as well, and initially it looked like the Dark Elves were going to struggle to push through, as he managed to kind of hold one flank and wheel around those Glade Guard to rain fire in from afar. But unfortunately, Eternal Guard and Dryads got kind of cut to smithereens. Glade Guard as well across the board got some okay value, but nothing amazing. Wild Riders were really kind of chucked into desperate situations in an attempt to save them, but Ice Power did eventually manage to steamroll his way through. Marathi, 1,340 damage value, doing some good work there. Mixture of Bleak Swords and Dread Spears getting some, okay work done. They did what they needed. Double Sisters of Slaughter, once again performing really well. 1,200 damage value here, 120 kills, 734 with plenty left to give. The Dark Riders were sacrificed quite heavily. Not the craziest damage value on those guys, losing a lot of health and men, but it was a necessary evil to waste these men to really shut down that back line. Cold War Knights did a really good job as well, 1,100 damage value, and the Manticore's always a big pest from the skies. GG, well played. I think Vaughn has a lobby up, so we can hop over there. Cool. The overload. Yeah, I told you guys, you gotta watch out. Ice Power is very good with those flank overloads. Let's just make sure. Okay, it looks like he has seen the message. Cool. We're gonna go into the finals, guys. So here we go. Let's update the scoreboard before I forget. And this is the last game of the stream, guys. So we're actually going to put Ice Power on the right because I'm assuming he's going to be on that side in the lobby. So Ice Power. And the left text shall be von Carstien. Awesome stuff. So here we hop in. 1, 2, 3 should be the password, fingers crossed. Yes, yes. No Skaven today, finally. I've not a single person brought Skaven, but we do have von Carstien's Chaos Forces up against Ice Power's Dark Elf Hordes. What shall the map be? Oof. I'm tempted to do Alpine Ridge because it's very thematic. We do a lot here on the channel, so maybe we'll mix it up a little bit this time. We can do Oakenhammer, I think. It'd be a good fun map. Oakenhammer is the map. Ice Power versus... Oh, does it still say Ice Power versus Ice Power? I hope I changed it correctly. I did. Okay, cool. Phew. Yeah, briefly it would have been Ice Power versus Ice Power. Oh no, have I done his name wrong? Let's sort that quickly. Hopefully that's better. Dark Elves versus Chaos, and it's not a full kite match. That's a first. Yeah, I guess it's going to be pretty weird. And this is the beautiful thing. You just get matchups, and sometimes a matchup would normally be really bad for a faction. They have to play a certain way, but because the opponent hasn't brought that really overpowered build, which works against them. For example, Dwarves can be really good in this format, because even if you come up against someone like who has a load of chariots, they may not have brought them, because they're not expecting to face Dwarves every matchup. So, yeah, it makes it quite fun, I think, and interesting. And who is the burst servant of Slaanesh? Von Carstien really getting into character and ready for Total Warhammer 3 for sure. Yeah, Altdorf Outskirts is also a really fun map. I'm a big fan of Altdorf Outskirts. It's pretty funny as well because of the dips and stuff. We'll try and mix that with a bit of Oakenhammer. But I'm quite bad today, says Von Carstien, whilst in the finals. He's been pretty impressive. I get it though, I sometimes feel like that, even if I've won a load of games, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm playing terrible. But guys, this is the last battle, so this is your last chance, or near your last chance, to smash that thumbs up button. And, you know, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma. I'm sure she would love to see some Warhammer action. As these guys scrap it out. And here we go. So for the forces, once again, of Von Carstien, we'll briefly go over the builds, as you guys have already seen them. We have a bucket ton of horsemen, triple in fact, protected by double warhounds with poison. Front line is a mixture of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, marauders, as well as I believe the Mirror Guard. We do have the Summoners of Rage, MVPs so far in a multitude of matchups. These heroic kind of mixtures of Ogre and Thor the Thunder God are pretty scary combatants indeed. We have Sigvald the Magnificent, Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, and a Feral Manticore. Just look at him, ready for battle. Armor gleaming, barely taking a scratch all tournament so far on him. And we'll have to see what the Force of Dark Elves can bring. Now, Marathi is going to do well here for the most part. But, I don't know, 2 Manticores in the sky. She should be able to win the aerial threat, I think. She's also got 2 Manticores and herself. We have Dread Spears and Bleak Swords dotted throughout the front line, as well as double Sisters of Slaughter, who are going to be really good up against a lot of the ground forces of the Chaos Warriors. We have triple Dark Riders, Slaanesh Harvesters, as well as Cold One Knights. And that's going to be it. That is going to be a hit, and we are here on the glorious map of Oakenhammer, surrounded by mountains in every single direction you look. There's also some really lovely, choke points that you could force your opponent into if you can move out of the map, in reality. But of course, we're here on the lovely openish plains. It does roll a little bit, and I think this side is actually a little bit more elevated for the most part, so it may be slightly biased towards them, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy whatsoever. Good luck, have fun, my friends. Screams Ice Pound. The battle for the ultimate glory shall be emerging soon. Looks like not odds as well are relatively even, I suppose, as far as troop count goes. So there's going to really be a matter of martial skill, who has the better warriors and who has the better tactics. Ready, good luck, have fun, mate, says Von Carstien. Both these guys, of course, represent an Extreme Meme team. Although it looks like at the moment Ice Power is going under the moniker of Extreme Meme Ducks, which I love to see as well. So the Glorious Manticores will be flying forward, and they need to make sure they get into the area of engagement when they're not being pressurized by the Marauder Horsemen, and it should go relatively well for them. But if those Horsemen get in there, it's going to be scary. There's a lot of cavalry pressure from the Dark Elves, as we've seen in previous games, which might be able to help fend these guys off, at least for the most part. We're going to have to see as well if Ice Power does go for a bit of a flank overload once more. It's been rather successful for him so far all tournament, but against such a build, maybe it won't work quite as well. Manticore's flown out to this left-hand side. Von Carstien simply going to be pulling back his troops. Going to be a lot of cat and mouse at this point, as the Horsemen do wheel forward. Dark Riders get a lovely little bit of free charge on Marauders, and now kind of fall back behind a shield wall of Bleak Swords, who are still actually getting in position there, as Marauder Horsemen did start to engage. And once again, Dark Riders going to hammer in and pull back. Really good micro across the front line by Ice Power. Oh my god, those Marauders get absolutely slaughtered, but the Silencious Harvesters need to fall back as quickly as possible. Dread Spears are a little bit out of support range, and we are going to get some lovely spells going down. Soul Stealer catches a ton of units, and a big fat burning head goes down the line. Ice Power manages to dodge it for the most... Oh no, I take that back! He doesn't manage to dodge it, he falls back, spotting it. But there goes a unit of Dark Riders and a unit of Bleak Swords. Really good cast there from Von Carstien, and now he has his Horsemen focus firing down the Sisters of Slaughter with the help of the Summons of Rage. Good targeting throughout, but up in the air game, the Chaos Sorcerer is going to have to dart down, being hunted by Marathi and the Double Manticore, and they may have to commit to this despite the fact the Summons of Rage are here. They're certainly needed. Summoners are also taking a lot of health damage. Cold War Knights trying to loop back around the formation. Elsewhere, we have a load of Dark Elf units not doing anything. Sisters of Slaughter and Dread Spears need to kind of move onto this side. Looks like Ice Power has been flank overload himself here a little bit. A beautiful Soul Stealer going down though, catching so many troops. That is disgusting, that little blob. And it looks like the Summons of Rage are going to be going down here. A big wand will be shot into the mists, trying to help finish them off. They've been terrified as well. Double Manticore looking very healthy, as well as Marathi. Dark Rider's going to surround this Chaos Feral Manticore, trying to allow the Dark Elves to come out here and deal with it. Silencious Harvesters are floating over as well. And it looks like that big blob engagement did go in the favour of the Dark Elves really, really heavily. So many units being terrified and forced off at the moment. Cold War Knights licking their lips and going to be trying to hunt those guys down. Feast upon their souls. In the distance, we do have Dark Riders finishing off some Chaos Warhounds with poison. Sisters of Slaughter do slaughter some Chaos Marauders, but certainly want to pull their way back and try and help deal with these Chaos Warriors who are kindly butchering their way through the front line. In the skies, Marathi is being hunted. Her Feral Manticore pets, though, are here to support, and Marathi taking huge damage from this Manticore. He's not taking any crap, but is now unfortunately going to have to fall back. Good micro by Von, though, to realise the situation and fall back. Try to lure these characters down into the main fray here. The problem with this is Dark Elves have so many good stacking debuffs they can drop down. Another Soul Stealer comes in, catching the Manticore, which has now Rampage. Great weapons and Mirror Guard are here to support where possible, but Sisters of Slaughter doing a good job as well. Prince Sigvald the Magnificent doing some lovely damage. The Chaos Feral Manticore has been forced off the field as Marathi cackles and laughs up in the skies. This could be a disaster if Ice Power doesn't spot it. Another fat burning head going down, roasting the Dread Spears, roasting the Sisters of Slaughter, and missing all of the Chaos troops. And with that, the Chaos are certainly back in the game, getting rid of a load of the enemy infantry. But there's another unit of Sisters of Slaughter charging in, recklessly spinning, whipping, carving into these Chaos Warriors. Though it looks like they are going to be meeting themselves with a ferocious charge. And they've got decent armor stats all round. Okay, damage stats output as well. Prince Sigvald going to float over here to try and deal with the enemy. Big problem, though, is the triple flying threat coming in from the Dark Elves. Not much the Chaos have left to deal with them. A lot of the Horsemen are relatively low as well. Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire has done really well for himself, all tournament in fact, but he is looking very low on health and he can't really get too close to the engagement for the fear of the enemy strike force. Chaos Warriors are certainly going down here, trying their best to cleave apart these sisters with the help of Prince Sigvald, who's having an absolute whale of a time amongst all those ladies. But at the end of the day, the Chaos Warriors aren't going to be able to hold the line too long. In the distance, we do have some Chaos Marauders who can come back to the main fray. Another unit has been chased off by some beat-up Dread Spears, which is good micromanagement by both these players. Another Burning Head is going to be coming down, but only just clips some of the Sisters of Slaughter. This time, Ice Power did learn his lesson and kind of falls back before whipping them into the rear of the enemy. And this is going to be that's going to be a dangerous charge if they do dart in, trying to hamstring the Chaos Warriors from behind. Double Manticore is pressurising the Sorcerer Lord, who's close to breaking as well. In the distance, we do have some good counter-skirmish though. Marauder Horsemen are going to kite the Cold Knights into an existential crisis, but they are also needed over here, those throwing javelins, right, to take down the flying threats and so forth. But perhaps Prince Sigvald can carry. He is known for doing such things. Chaos Sorcerer Fire is desperately trying to retreat and land. Actually, after the knights kind of bobbing and weaving up and down to try and escape the Manticore and buy time for the horsemen to try and attempt to save him. But I'm not sure if they will be able to. This is a big pocket of strength right here for the Warriors of Chaos, though. They are hit once more with a big fat Word of Pain and Soul Stealer. The Sister Slaughter have been slaughtered themselves, and the Mighty Prince Sigurd is holding the line rather well. Pharaoh Manticore has rampaged into these troops. It looks like a lot of the Chaos resistance is going to break there due to the power of Morathi doing some really lovely damage throughout the course of the battle. And it looks like the Dark Elves can use their added mobility now to mop up those Chaos units, which are on the peripheries, and we're getting dangerously close to army losses here. Prince Sigurd, of course, shall be the last man standing, as always, when he is brought to the battlefield. Chaos Pharaoh Manticore is going down here, trying to bob and weave its way out of danger and bound up into the skies. But Prince Sigurd still going to do decent work. He is up to a mighty 56 kills, and he does have that regeneration. A few more slaughtered sisters are going to be going back in. Sister Slaughter, I should say, but it looks like they're going to break the Chaos forces. And Ice Power, the man who says his faction Dark Elves are a meme, proven here for you guys live on the stream. Dark Elves OP, please nerf in the next patch. Get rid of them, take them out of the game. They're too disgustingly powerful to be into existence. Very well played to these two champs, Von Carstien and Ice Power Total War. And a big shout out to Ice Power for winning this tournament. Don't go anywhere yet though, we have a few announcements left, and I will also try and find up stream for you guys to jump on and raid. Morathi, 59 kills, 2,306 damage value, 9,866 damage dealt, an absolute MVP doing glorious work with her air core. Double Pharaoh Manticore as well as Morathi is really delicious and scary. They did pretty good themselves, 920 and 687 damage value. Good cavalry play, such as Harvesters, 1,569 damage value, plus the debuffs they brought to the field. And the Sister Slaughter as well, once again performing pretty well. It always seems the unit on the right do best for some reason, like every single replay. 1,000, nearly 300 damage value. The other one, 926. So good work by them. As for Von Carstien, expert play with his Chaos Sorcerer Fire. Over 1,000 damage value, cleared a lot of chaff. But unfortunately, that air presence was just too hard for him to deal with. Prince Sigurd as well, 1,131 damage value. Still plenty left in the tank, but unfortunately, his forces let him down, breaking all around him. Mirrorguard did okay, as so did the Chaos Warriors, but nothing spectacular. The Skirmish Corps got some pretty decent value, but they were unfortunately being pushed back by that unit of Chaos Cold One Knights, there we go, for the majority of the battle. His Manticores did really well considering the pressure they're put under. 1,242 damage value is glorious work. Summons of Rage, unfortunately, did find themselves in a tricky situation. Thanks for the games, no worries. GG, well played. And you are today's champion. Dark Elves OP. Let's plan, and I love the build. It was a really cool build, honestly. It was a really, really fun build. I love him going as well with the sub-faction. What's up, Flex Prime? Unfortunately, you've just made it at the very end of the stream. But I hope you are a good man. Elmatai is here as well. The man, the myth, the legend himself, who is also a bit of a beastman god of war. So make sure to be scared of him if you see him on quick battles whipping them out. GG, well played to both, and grats to Ice Power. Damn right, Alex, I agree. I fully agree. Well played to both of them. Honestly, amazing game. Ice Power played super well as well throughout the entire event, as usual. All hail the Bestigor Rush. Oh man, that'd have been so good. That'd be so good. Make Sentinels of Great Weapons great again. I want splash attacks back. They're actually not terrible, honestly. Well, I mean, I say that from someone who's not a Beastman main, so maybe they are. But if they get the charge, they can do a lot of damage. But yeah, splash attacks would be nice for them as well. See you soon. So let's quickly update the scoreboard, so someone does get a point at the end of the day. And that score shall be for Mr. Ice Power, winning 1-0 in this final up against Von Carstien. I really hope you guys enjoyed this format. If you did, please do let me know. Comment underneath the video, let me know on Discord, whatever you want to do, and we can get more of these up and running in the future as well. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure to leave a big old thumbs up and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content in the future. If you do want to support the channel in any other way, I do have a Patreon. There's a link down below in the description. I really appreciate all my patrons. I'm actually going to try and organise something so I can can have their names kind of at the end of the streams, like up on the stream, for example. And you can also become a member on the YouTube channel. If you want to get replays up on the channel, join in on these events in the future, feel free to join my Discord. There's a link down below. Or if you ask one of the mods, I'm sure they'll happily send you one. And let's have a little look to see if anyone's streaming. It doesn't look like anyone is, which is bad news. That's it is Mother's Day, of course, so I'm sure many people aren't going to be out and streaming. Legend of Total War's currently streaming, but that is multiplayer. I also don't think he needs me to raid him, although he did raid me once, so maybe we can send you back that way. So it's not unfortunately, none of the multiplayer guys seem to be streaming, which is a little sad. But if you want to join a legion of 3,000 people already who are watching some multiplayer by Legend of Total War, here's a little link to his channel for you as well. Feel free to yell a quack at him, tell you I sent him you guys there, as I'm sure he'll appreciate that as well, although you may get a little lost, unfortunately. What's up, Walt? I'm actually casting one of your games in just a second, but glad to see you as well. Just make it just at the end there as well. So hopefully see you soon, bud. So yeah, this is a great format. I really like this format, says Leo. Nice tournament. I love the content. Awesome. So it definitely looks like you guys enjoy this, and we'll try and push it more in the future. And yes. Cool. So it looks like we have no kind of outlasting questions. So there are the links there to Legend of Total War if you do enjoy a little bit of campaign. He's definitely a campaign exclusive geezer. And yeah, all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.